The sun was melting into the Pacific horizon, painting the Santa Monica Pier in gold. Families laughed, lovers strolled, and the air smelled of salt, popcorn, and freedom. But for one little girl in a wheelchair, this sunset was about to turn into a nightmare. "Move, cripple!" a cruel voice snapped behind her. Before she could even react, a teenage boy's sneaker slammed into the wheel of her chair, sending her spinning sideways. Her ice cream fell, splattering against the boardwalk. Laughter erupted. Her name was Emily, 11 years old, paralyzed since birth. She had begged her mother to take her to the pier that day, to feel normal, she said. But now, surrounded by mocking voices, tears began to blur her view of the ocean she loved so much. And then it happened. A deep rumble rolled through the air, low and thunderous, like an approaching storm. Heads turned. Down Ocean Avenue came a sea of black leather and chrome, dozens of motorcycles glinting under the setting sun. The laughter stopped. The bullies froze. One of the bikers, a tall, broad man with tattoos curling up his neck, swung off his Harley and stared straight at the boys. "Did I just hear you call her cripple?" he asked, his voice calm but deadly. Within seconds, the entire pier went silent. The bullies had no idea what they had just started. Emily gripped the arms of her wheelchair, her heart pounding. The three teenagers, all around 16, shuffled backward, their bravado fading fast. The lead biker took off his helmet. He had salt and pepper hair, eyes that had seen too much, and a leather vest with the emblem Sons of Redemption MC. Behind him, a dozen more bikers stopped their engines. The pier vibrated under their boots as they approached, forming a half circle around the girl. "You boys think you're tough?" the leader said, stepping closer. "Try picking on someone your own size." One of the bullies stammered. "We didn't mean?" Another biker barked, his voice booming. "You kicked her chair, you little punk!" The crowd began to gather. People pulled out their phones, recording. Emily's mother came running from a food stall, panic on her face. "Emily! Oh my God, are you okay?" Emily nodded weakly, still trembling. The leader turned to her gently. "You all right, sweetheart?" She nodded again, whispering. "I'm fine, thank you." The biker knelt beside her. "Don't thank me yet," he said softly. "You just met the good side of bad men." The bullies were now cornered. The leader of the group, a blonde kid with a smug face, tried to step forward. "Look, man, we were just joking around." The biker's expression hardened. "You think it's a joke to humiliate someone who can't fight back? Let me tell you something. I've done bad things in my life. Real bad. But even at my worst, I never disrespected someone who was already fighting a battle I couldn't see." He pointed at Emily's chair. "That girl? She's stronger than any of you will ever be." The kid opened his mouth again, but before he could speak, another biker, a tall woman with a red bandana and scars on her hands, stepped up. "You boys should leave. Now. Before this crowd decides you shouldn't." The bullies glanced around. People were glaring, whispering. Some even clapped. Defeated, they muttered apologies and hurried off down the pier. But the story didn't end there. The bikers didn't just scare away the bullies, they stayed. They bought Emily a new ice cream. They fixed her wheelchair's bent wheel. One of them, a quiet man with a long gray beard, even gave her his leather jacket to keep her warm as the sun dipped below the water. Emily couldn't stop smiling through her tears. "Why did you help me?" she asked softly. The leader, who introduced himself as Max, smiled. "Because once upon a time, someone helped me too. I was a bully once, mean, lost, angry. Then a man stood up to me, showed me what it meant to protect, not hurt. I've been paying that debt ever since." He looked out at the waves. "You don't need legs to stand tall, kid. You just need heart." A man from the crowd stepped forward. He had been filming everything. "You guys are heroes," he said. "I'm posting this online." Max shrugged. "Do what you want, but we didn't do it for cameras." The next morning, that video exploded across the internet. "Bikers defend disabled girl from bullies at Santa Monica Pier." Millions watched as the rough-looking men surrounded Emily, their engines rumbling like a wall of thunder. News outlets picked it up. Local radio stations interviewed Mac. He hated the attention, but Emily's mother, Laura, was grateful. "People saw my daughter as weak," she said on camera. "But those bikers made the world see her strength." Days later, the Sons of Redemption returned to the pier. Not for a fight, for a surprise. Emily and her mom were waiting by the boardwalk when the bikers rolled in again, their headlights cutting through the California morning mist. Mac approached with a grin and wheeled out a custom-made electric wheelchair, black with chrome rims, engine decals, and the club's emblem painted on the back. Emily gasped. "Is this for me?" "Damn right," Mac said. "Built it ourselves. Thought you could use a set of wheels that match your spirit." She laughed, touching the handlebars. "It's beautiful." The bikers clapped and cheered. A photographer snapped photos. Someone in the crowd shouted, "Ride on, Emily!" Mac crouched beside her again. "You remember what I said? You don't need legs to stand tall." Emily nodded. "I'll never forget." He smiled. "Good. Because the next time someone calls you cripple, you tell them this: I roll with warriors." That summer, Emily became a small celebrity in Santa Monica. Kids from her school who once ignored her now wanted to sit with her at lunch. The bullies who had tormented her came to apologize publicly. But Emily didn't seek revenge. She forgave them. Her mother asked her why. She smiled and said, "Because Max said forgiveness is the strongest kind of freedom." Months later, Mac's motorcycle club started a campaign called Wheels of Respect. Their mission: to protect and empower disabled kids across California. They held charity rides, built custom chairs, and donated to hospitals. Emily became the campaign's youngest ambassador. When asked by a reporter what message she wanted to give the world, Emily said simply, "Don't ever look down on someone who's sitting down. They might just be standing taller than you." The Santa Monica Pier still shines gold at sunset. The laughter still floats on the breeze, the sea still hums its eternal song. But if you listen closely, sometimes you can hear the echo of motorcycle engines rolling across the boardwalk, a sound that once brought justice, courage, and love. And if you're lucky, you might see a little girl in a black and chrome wheelchair racing down the pier, hair flying in the wind, her laughter brighter than the ocean itself. Because that day, the world learned something simple: you don't need to be perfect to be powerful. You just need the heart to stand, even when you can't.